The massive alien ship descended from the clouds like a shining silver disk, casting a shadow over the United Nations building in New York. It was humanity's first contact day, but Captain James Walker felt more annoyed than excited. His dress uniform was too tight around the neck, and he had spent the last 3 hours waiting in a conference room with Earth's other military representatives. "They're late," he muttered, checking his watch again. The aliens had requested this meeting to assess Earth's military capabilities, yet they couldn't even show up on time. The door finally opened. 3 tall, blue-skinned aliens walked in, their silver robes flowing behind them. The leader, who introduced himself as Ambassador Tal, had 4 arms and eyes that sparkled like diamonds. His 2 assistants carried what looked like glowing tablets. "We apologize for the delay," Ambassador Tal said through his translator device. "We had to complete our initial scans of your planet's defense systems." He paused, making a sound that seemed like a chuckle. "Though I must say, there wasn't much to scan." Walker kept his face neutral, even as he felt his jaw tighten. He had dealt with plenty of arrogant officers in his time, but this alien brought arrogance to a whole new level. "Captain Walker," Tal continued, "we understand you're here to present your military capabilities. Please proceed." Walker stood up and activated the room's display screen. Earth's combined military forces include approximately 10 million active personnel, 50,000 aircraft, and— Yes, Tal interrupted, waving one of his 4 hands dismissively. "But what about your weapons? Our scans showed something quite peculiar." Walker switched to an image of standard military equipment. "Our primary infantry weapons are based on gunpowder-driven projectiles, ranging from pistols to—" The room filled with alien laughter. Ambassador Tal's assistants were practically doubled over, their tablets shaking in their hands. Even Tal himself wasn't trying to hide his amusement anymore. "You mean you still throw small pieces of metal at each other?" Tal asked between bursts of laughter. "With explosions, like cavemen with particularly loud sticks." Walker felt his face grow hot, but he continued professionally. "Our weapons are highly effective and have been perfected over centuries off." "Oh, this is too much," Tal interrupted again. He pulled out a small silver device from his robe. "This is a basic civilian defense weapon in Council space." The device hummed to life, projecting a shield of shimmering energy. "Even our children have better protection than your most advanced weapons could hope to penetrate." To demonstrate, one of Tal's assistants pulled out another device that fired a beam of blue energy. The beam splashed harmlessly against the shield. "Energy weapons and energy shields," Tal explained slowly, as if talking to a child. "This is what civilized species use, not bits of metal and explosions." Walker noticed something interesting during the demonstration, but he kept his observation to himself. Instead, he asked, "Then what do you suggest, Ambassador?" Tal's expression became what Walker assumed was the alien equivalent of a patronizing smile. "The Galactic Council has decided to offer Earth a patronage position. As a developing species, you'll receive our guidance and protection. We'll help you upgrade from your primitive ways." The meeting continued for another hour, with Tal and his assistants showing off more examples of their advanced technology. They projected images of massive ships, planet-spanning shield systems, and weapons that could level mountains with energy beams. Finally, as they prepared to leave, Tal turned to Walker one last time. "We'll send our military advisors next week to begin your evaluation. Do try to keep your soldiers from frightening them with your explosion sticks." This sent his assistants into another fit of laughter as they left the room. Walker waited until the door closed before allowing himself a small smile. During the shield demonstration, he had noticed something crucial. The alien shield had rippled in a peculiar way when one of Tal's assistants had accidentally bumped into it. The energy shield might be perfect against energy weapons, but Walker had a strong suspicion about how it would handle good old-fashioned kinetic impact. "Laugh all you want," he whispered to himself as he gathered his materials. We'll see who's laughing when you learn why humanity never gave up on throwing really fast pieces of metal. 1 week after the first meeting, Major Thomas Reed stood at the Fort Benning shooting range under the hot Georgia sun. 2 alien military advisors watched him with what he could only describe as bored expressions. The taller one, Advisor Nex, kept checking his tablet while barely looking at the weapon demonstration. As you can see, Reed explained, lifting an M4 rifle, this standard infantry weapon has an effective range of. Yes, Nex interrupted, not even trying to hide his yawn. More metal-throwing devices. How primitive. He turned to his fellow advisor and spoke in their language, causing both to laugh. Reed kept his cool. He had been briefed by Captain Walker about these reactions. Perhaps you'd like to see a practical demonstration. This finally caught their attention, if only because they seemed eager to see human weapons fail. Nex gestured at the firing range. Please, amuse us. Reed picked up the rifle and faced the targets. Downrange, holographic projectors created moving images of various threats, a technology gifted by the Council to help upgrade Earth's primitive training methods. Without warning, Reed moved into action. In less than 5 seconds, he hit 12 different targets, each shot finding its mark with perfect precision. The sound of gunfire echoed across the range, and the smell of gunpowder filled the air. The aliens jumped at the noise, clearly startled. Reed noticed their hands moving to their personal shield devices. Barbaric, Nex said after composing himself. All that noise and smoke just to throw little pieces of metal. He pulled out his own weapon, a sleek silver tube. Watch this. The alien weapon hummed to life, firing brilliant beams of energy at the targets. Each beam hit with perfect accuracy, making no sound except a soft whisper. Clean, efficient, and civilized. Nex declared proudly. No waste, no primitive explosions. Reed nodded politely, but his mind was racing. During the demonstration, he had noticed something crucial about the alien weapon. Each shot had taken a fraction of a second longer to fire than a bullet. Not much, but in combat, milliseconds mattered. The demonstration continued through the day. The aliens watched Earth's soldiers showcase everything from pistols to sniper rifles, heavy machine guns to artillery pieces. With each demonstration, their dismissive attitude grew stronger. To think, Nex said during a break, your species still relies on mechanical devices and chemical reactions. It's like watching children play with toys. That evening, Reed met with Captain Walker in a secure underground room at the base. The walls were lined with signal-blocking material, a precaution against alien surveillance that the Council probably thought was just another example of human paranoia. They're completely blind to it, aren't they? Reed said, spreading out his notes on the table. Walker nodded. Their shields are perfect against energy weapons, but they've forgotten about basic physics. Did you see how their personal shields rippled when they got startled by the gunfire? Yes, and there's more, Reed added. Their weapons may be powerful, but they're slower. The energy has to build up before each shot. A good marksman with a rifle could get 3 rounds off in the time it takes them to fire once. Walker pulled out his secure tablet, showing Reed the data collected during the first contact meeting. Our scientists have been analyzing their shield technology. It's all designed to deflect or absorb energy. Nothing in their designs accounts for pure kinetic impact. Because they think it's too primitive to be a threat. Reed finished the thought. They've developed their defenses against the weapons they respect and completely ignored the ones they don't. Exactly. Walker smiled. And they're so convinced of their superiority, they're not even bothering to hide their technology from us. Their gifts are giving us everything we need to understand their weaknesses. Reed looked at the firing range through the window, where the alien advisors were preparing to leave for the day. They walked with the confident stride of beings who thought they had nothing to fear from this primitive world. Should we tell them? Reed asked. Walker shook his head. Let them keep laughing. The best lessons are the ones you don't see coming. He gathered his papers. Besides, sooner or later, Someone's going to test our primitive weapons against their perfect shields. Then they'll learn what every human soldier knows. What's that? It doesn't matter how advanced your armor is if you've only prepared for half the threats. Colonel Anna Miller stood in the underground laboratory, watching as the high-speed camera recorded another test. Behind thick bulletproof glass, a standard rifle bullet hit an energy shield copied from the Council's gifted technology. The shield flickered, rippled, and, just like the last 50 tests, failed completely. "Play it back," she ordered. The technician slowed the footage down to show each millisecond of impact. The bullet passed through the shield as if it wasn't even there. "Their shields are worse than useless against kinetic weapons," said Dr. Alan West, the head scientist. He pointed to his data screen. "They're actually helping our bullets go through. The shield tries to absorb energy, but it can't handle physical objects. It's like trying to stop a rock with a light beam." The lad was part of Project Backdoor, humanity's secret response to the Council's patronage. While alien advisors walked around above ground, laughing at Earth's military technology, the real work happened in bases like this one, hidden deep underground. Miller checked her watch. In 30 minutes, she would brief the Joint Chiefs of Staff on their findings. "Show me the new ammunition types," she said. West led her to a table covered with different bullets. "We've modified them based on what we learned from their shield technology." He picked up one that looked like a normal rifle round except for strange markings on its surface. "This one creates a rotating field that actually uses their shield energy to pull itself forward faster. The harder their shield tries to stop it, the more it helps the bullet." "Like throwing water on an oil fire," Miller said, examining the bullet. "Exactly. And this one," West picked up another round, fragments on impact. "Their shields try to stop each piece separately, overloading the whole system." He smiled. "They're so focused on energy weapons, they never considered old-fashioned physics could beat their technology." The briefing room was filled with Earth's top military leaders when Miller presented her findings. On screens around the room, similar research from other hidden labs showed the same results. Earth's primitive weapons were exactly what was needed to defeat the Council's advanced technology. "The aliens have 3 key weaknesses," Miller explained, pointing to her presentation. "First, their shields can't stop physical objects. Second, their weapons are slower than ours. Third, and most importantly, they're so confident in their technology that they're not looking for these problems." "What do you recommend, Colonel?" asked General Richards, leaning forward in his chair. "We play along," Miller said. "Let them keep thinking we're primitive. Let them keep showing us their technology. But we prepare, quietly." She brought up images of the new ammunition designs. "Every bullet we make from now on will be specifically designed to beat their shields. We'll look weak on the surface, but we'll be ready if they ever turn hostile." The room was silent for a moment. Everyone understood the risk. If the Council discovered these preparations, they might decide Earth was too dangerous to leave alone. "There's something else," Miller continued. "Dr. West discovered it yesterday." She played a video showing an alien personal shield device activating. "Watch the power readings." The scientists in the room leaned forward, their eyes widening as they understood what they were seeing. "Their shields take a quarter-second to activate," Miller explained. "That's why they keep them on all the time. If the shield is down, it's vulnerable during that startup time. A bullet would hit them before their shield could activate." General Richards stood up. "So what you're saying is, their greatest strength is actually their greatest weakness," Miller finished. "They've forgotten that sometimes the simple solution is the best one. They've built their entire civilization around energy weapons and shields, but they've left themselves completely open to basic physical attacks." As the meeting ended, Miller gathered her materials. One of the younger officers approached her. "Man," he said quietly, "what happens when they figure this out?" Miller looked at the simulation still running on her tablet, showing a simple lead bullet passing effortlessly through the most advanced alien shield technology in the galaxy. "They won't," she said confidently. Their biggest weakness isn't their shield technology. It's their pride. They're so sure they're superior that they'll never look for flaws in their defenses, and by the time they realize their mistake. She let the sentence hang unfinished. On her tablet, another simulation played. A human rifle firing, and an alien shield failing. The truth was both simple and profound. Sometimes, the most advanced civilization in the galaxy could be defeated by something as basic as a well-placed bullet. Just remember, she told the young officer, never underestimate old technology. The Council forgot that lesson. We won't make the same mistake. The space pirates thought Earth would be an easy target. After all, everyone in Council space knew that Earth was just a primitive world under patronage, still using explosions to throw metal around. The pirate leader, Boss Crag, had laughed when he chose Earth for their raid. His crew of 20 ships carried the best shield technology stolen from Council worlds. They didn't expect the greeting they received. "Sir, all stations report ready," reported Lieutenant Mark Wilson. He stood at his post in the hidden command center beneath the Rocky Mountains. Around him, radar screens tracked the approaching pirate fleet. General Richards nodded. "Send the message exactly as planned." They had prepared for this moment ever since discovering the weaknesses in Council shield technology. The radio operator transmitted their prepared response. "Attention alien vessels. This is Earth Defense Command. We surrender unconditionally. Please accept our immediate capitulation." On the main screen, they watched as the pirate ships moved closer. Just as Colonel Miller had predicted, the pirates were confident, sloppy, and had their shields set to standard Council configurations. "They're entering the firing zone," Wilson announced. "All batteries report target lock." Richards picked up his secure phone. "Colonel Miller, are you in position?" "Yes, sir." Miller's voice came through clearly. She was at Fort Benning, commanding the ground response team. "All units are ready with the new ammunition. The pirates won't know what hit them." Richards looked at the tactical display. The pirates had spread out their ships, probably planning to surround Earth's major cities. It was exactly what they had hoped for. "Operation Surprise starts now," Richards ordered. "All batteries, open fire." Deep in hidden mountain bunkers, massive rail guns powered up. These weren't the primitive weapons the Council knew about. These were Earth's secret defense system, developed using the principles they had learned from studying alien shield technology. The first volley caught the pirates completely by surprise. Hypervelocity rounds, designed specifically to exploit the weaknesses in Council shields, streaked through space. The pirates' advanced shields, tuned to stop energy weapons, might as well have been paper against the physical projectiles. "Direct hits on 5 ships," Wilson called out. "Their shields aren't even slowing the rounds down." On the tactical screen, 5 pirate ships winked out of existence. The others began to panic, their formation breaking apart. "They're trying to power up their weapons," another operator reported. "But our rounds are hitting them before they can complete their firing sequence." Richard smiled grimly. The aliens' energy weapons were powerful but slow. In the time it took them to power up one shot, Earth's guns could fire dozens of rounds. 3 pirate ships broke through and entered the atmosphere, heading for what they thought was an easy target, Fort Benning. They didn't know that Colonel Miller was waiting for them. "Ground teams engaging," Miller's voice reported calmly. "Testing the new anti-shield rounds now." The base's anti-aircraft guns opened up. Each one fired specially designed bullets that used the pirates' own shield energy against them. The rounds didn't just penetrate the shields, they were actually made more effective by the aliens' defensive technology. 2 ships down, Miller reported. "The last one is. Wait, they're landing. They're actually trying to land troops." Richards watched as the final pirate ship touched down. Its crew probably thought they could still win with superior personal weapons and shields. They were about to learn a hard lesson about human innovation. The firefight lasted less than 2 minutes. The pirates' personal shields, just like their ship shields, were useless against physical bullets. Their energy weapons, while powerful, were too slow against human rifles. Miller's troops, using the new anti-shield ammunition, cut through the pirates' defenses like they weren't even there. All hostile forces neutralized, Miller reported. No casualties on our side. Sir, you should see their faces. They never even understood what was happening. Richards looked at the battlefield reports coming in. 20 pirate ships destroyed. Over 100 alien pirates captured, and not a single human life lost. All because the aliens had been too proud to consider that primitive weapons might be exactly what was needed to defeat their advanced technology. Send word to all commands, Richards ordered. Operation Surprise is a complete success. And get me Captain Walker. The Council's going to want an explanation about this unfortunate pirate incident. He smiled. I think it's time we showed them just how surprising primitive weapons can be. The Grand Council chamber had never been so chaotic. Hundreds of alien representatives shouted and argued, their voices echoing off the crystal walls. Ambassador Tal stood at the center platform, his blue skin now a pale shade of gray from stress. Impossible, he shouted over the noise. The reports must be wrong. No primitive world could defeat 20 ships of advanced design. Captain Walker stood calmly at the speaker's podium, waiting for the chaos to settle. Behind him, a large screen showed images from the battle. Each picture showed destroyed pirate ships and failed alien shields. The facts are clear, Walker said when the noise finally died down. Earth successfully defended itself against the pirate attack using our standard weapons. We have captured pirates and ship wreckage as proof. A tall, red-skinned council member stood up. But how? Your weapons are just metal and explosions. Our shields are designed to stop the most advanced energy weapons in the galaxy. Walker clicked to the next image, showing a simple bullet. Sometimes the old ways are the best ways. Your shields are perfect against energy weapons, but they can't stop physical objects. It's basic physics. Basic physics. Tal's voice trembled. He remembered laughing at human weapons during his first visit to Earth. That laughter felt very foolish now. Yes, Walker continued. While you focused on energy weapons, you forgot about kinetic impact. Every shield in Council space has the same weakness. We discovered this during your first demonstration, Ambassador Tal. The chamber erupted again. Council members turned to their personal shields, the same technology they had trusted for centuries. The same technology that they now realized couldn't stop a simple bullet. This is a crisis, shouted one representative. Our entire defense system is vulnerable. We demand access to Earth's weapon designs, called another. How many other primitive worlds have weapons that could defeat our shields? Walker waited patiently as the council members panicked. He had expected this reaction. Humanity had just proved that the galaxy's most advanced civilization had a massive blind spot in their defenses. Advisor Nex pushed through the crowd to reach the platform. You knew, he said to Walker. When I was evaluating your military, you knew our shields were useless against your weapons. Yes, Walker admitted. We discovered it during your first visit. Every time you demonstrated your shields, you showed us exactly how to defeat them. And you kept quiet. Nex realized. Let us keep thinking you were primitive. It seems safer that way. The Council's chief security officer, a massive creature with metallic skin, approached the podium. We must know. Why didn't you use this knowledge to attack us? You could have defeated any world in Council space. Walker looked around the chamber. Every alien face showed the same mix of fear and confusion. They couldn't understand why a primitive species would choose peace when they had discovered such a powerful advantage. Because Earth doesn't want conquest, Walker explained. We only want security and fair treatment. We used our weapons to defend ourselves, nothing more. Tal stepped forward, his four hands clasped in a gesture of respect. We were wrong about Earth, wrong about your weapons, wrong about everything. Not everything, Walker said. You were right that humanity has much to learn. But perhaps the Council has things to learn from us too. The chief security officer nodded slowly. like not forgetting old technologies just because new ones seem better. Exactly. Walker brought up a new image on the screen. A design combining human kinetic weapons with Council energy technology. We're willing to share our weapons research with the Council. In return, we want full membership, not as a primitive world under patronage, but as equals. The chamber was silent for a long moment. Finally, Tal spoke. I second this proposal. The Council needs Earth's expertise. We need to understand how we became so blind to such a simple threat. One by one, the Council members voted. The outcome was unanimous. Earth would become a full member of the Galactic Council. As Walker left the chamber, he heard the aliens already discussing changes to their military doctrine. Some were even practicing the word bullet, a term that would soon become very important in Council space. Primitive weapons, he muttered to himself, smiling. Sometimes the simplest solution is the best one. 1 year after the pirate incident, Captain Walker stood in Earth's largest weapons factory, watching as human and alien workers built guns side by side. The factory floor buzzed with activity as advanced Council machinery helped create what they once called primitive weapons. Remarkable, Ambassador Tal said, standing next to Walker. The alien diplomat had changed much in the past year. Gone was his arrogant attitude, replaced by genuine respect. Your world's weapons production has become the backbone of galactic defense. Walker nodded, watching as a new hybrid weapon rolled off the assembly line. It combined human gunpowder and bullets with Council energy technology, creating something entirely new. How many worlds have ordered our defense systems now? Over 300, Tal replied, checking his datapad. Even the most advanced Council worlds want Earth weapons. They're calling it the human revolution in military technology. The factory's main screen showed news from across the galaxy. Piracy had dropped by 90% since Council worlds started using Earth-designed weapons. No shield could stop the new bullets, and no energy weapon could match their speed. Colonel Miller entered the observation room, carrying the latest test results. The new hybrid rifles are exceeding all expectations, she reported. Council energy technology makes our bullets twice as fast, and our kinetic impact principles make their energy weapons more efficient. And the shields? Walker asked. Miller smiled. Dr. West cracked that problem last week. The new defensive systems combine physical armor with energy shields. Nothing's getting through that combination. They watched as a group of alien military officers practiced with standard Earth rifles on the factory's testing range. The same weapons they had laughed at months ago were now considered essential training for all Council forces. I must admit something, Tal said suddenly. The Council's leadership has been discussing the lessons we learned from Earth. He turned all four eyes to Walker. We became so focused on advancing our technology that we forgot the basics. We thought newer always meant better. That's a dangerous assumption in combat, Miller added. Sometimes the old ways work best. Walker led them to the factory's development section, where human and alien scientists work together on new projects. The real advancement comes from combining both approaches, your energy technology with our kinetic weapons, your shield systems with our armor designs. Speaking of combinations, Miller said, show him the new ships. They moved to a window overlooking a massive hangar. Inside, a new class of defense vessel was under construction. It looked like a Council ship, but bristled with both energy weapons and railguns. The best of both worlds, Walker explained. Fast-firing guns combined with energy beams, physical armor reinforced by shield technology. No more blind spots in our defenses. Tal stared at the ship with all four eyes wide. A year ago, we thought we were coming to uplift a primitive species. Instead, you revolutionized galactic warfare and defense. Not revolutionized, Walker corrected. We just remembered what you had forgotten. Every technology has its place, from the simplest bullet to the most advanced energy beam. As they walked through the factory, workers from a dozen alien worlds waved in greeting. Earth had become the galaxy's military training center, teaching the lost art of kinetic warfare alongside the latest energy weapons. The Council votes tomorrow on the new defense protocols. Tal mentioned, every world will be required to maintain both kinetic and energy weapon capabilities. No more relying on a single type of technology. And the motion to classify Earth as a primitive world. Miller asked with a slight smile. Tal made a sound that might have been embarrassed laughter. Unanimously struck from the records. In fact, Earth is now classified as an essential technical advisor to the Council. They reached the factory's main entrance, where a new plaque had just been installed. It read, United Earth Council Defense Industries, where past and future meet. Walker touched the plaque thoughtfully. You know what the funny thing is? None of this would have happened if you hadn't laughed at our guns that first day. A lesson in humility, Tal agreed. One the Council needed. As they watched the sun set over the factory complex, Walker thought about how much had changed. Humanity had gone from being the galaxy's joke to its defender, all because they remembered a simple truth. Sometimes the oldest solutions were still the best ones. And somewhere in the galaxy, the pirates who had survived their attack on Earth were still telling stories about the day they learned that lesson the hard way. The end.